So, welcome everybody. This is Swarn, and welcome to the Blessed Girl podcast show. So, today we have one of the special guests joining us from US, and he's a doctor, and he is a heart surgeon. So, basically, it's been over, I would say, entire his life he has supported, but lately to after the best part is that he joined the vegan lifestyle or the journey after 61, where people end their lifestyle as a far professional career is concerned, and that's what we are going to really discuss today. Let us welcome him and start with his journey and understand him. Welcome, Akil Taher. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you and be with you.
Thank you. I'm really privileged to be part of this whole journey of you being an author now. So thank you. So I would love to, begin with this particular question, which I feel the moment I saw your profile was why after 60 years, of age, that whole transition of veganism, as a youth, I can still understand because I have to live a life now, healthy life. But for you, it was like towards the almost, after retirement, which is very unique. So I would love to know what made you decide that.
See, number one, let me explain to you that I am not retiring. I am retiring. I'm refreshing myself at the age of 61.
Wow.
And number two is that just a little correction. I am not a heart surgeon. I'm an internist
Okay.
in medicine.
So what is the difference between a heart surgeon and
A heart
internist?
surgeon has done surgeries. He specializes in surgery. I'm an internist in internal medicine.
Okay. Sure.
Number two is what made me do at the age of 61, because most of my adult life before that, I was a seafood eater, eating everything at sight, and you can name it, and I've eaten it.
Wow.
So the idea is that this was all the wrong foods in my life, the
Mm.
rich foods,
Yeah.
saturated fats and oil and meat and eggs and dairy, which, along with being a couch potato, having no exercise except for the eye muscles which saw joggers running in the park, and having a type A personality.
Yeah.
Along with this, there was a lot of stress because
Yeah.
I was trying to live the American dream. So it is not it is not stressful because everybody has stress.
Yeah.
And if stress was that important, then all the prime ministers and CEOs and CFOs would all be in a lunatic asylum. But they know how to handle stress. I did not know how to handle stress. So all these things of no exercise, eating the wrong food, having a type A personality, I did not care for myself,
Yeah. Yeah.
my own health, my own family. I was great with my patients, but not with myself.
Mm.
So this all, I was not surprised when at the age of 56, heart disease, coronary artery disease came knocking at my door.
Mm. So was there it not never earlier that you realized that this is some disease going to be there, or was it all of a sudden which happened to you?
I was, genetically from my father's side, my grandfather was 103
Okay.
and my father was 88. So I thought I was invincible. Nothing is going to happen to me. We always say this. People say, my genetics are so strong, I can eat whatever I want, nothing will happen to me.
Yeah.
Or on the other side, they say, my genetics are so bad, so who cares? I'm going to eat whatever because it is going to happen to me. Wrong.
Yeah.
Genetics play only 15 to 20% of your disease.
Mm.
And even if you start changing your diet, which is more important than exercise, you can mitigate this. You can
Mm.
reverse your genetics, as it happened in my case.
Of course. Wow.
So when I got my stents,
Mm.
you must have, everybody, your listeners must be thinking, oh, now the doctor is going to change. No, I did not. I had the same lifestyle of eating and no exercise, and I was severely depressed. I was taken over by my wife to a psychiatrist. I had every illness that came, uh, bronchitis, sinus infections. I had perforations in my colon twice. I was admitted for long periods of time. They gave me IV antibiotics for days together. I had mouth ulcers for months and years. And so I was at the end of my rope. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I was so tired that I was not surprised that my stents failed.
Yeah.
So when I failed at the age of 61, I was forced to have open heart bypass surgery. And it is that time that I was reborn, that something happened to me. This is an inflection point, a reflection point in my life that made me change.
Yeah.
This is when they actually carried me to the ICU under the influence of anesthesia, and what I now felt
Yeah.
that I had two options:
Yeah.
do the surgery, retire, sit on my rocking chair, and wait for death and live vicariously through my children and grandchild,
Absolutely.
or turn this terrible setback into an opportunity.
Yeah.
Chose the latter. So,
Absolutely.
when I came around out of the anesthesia and when I came, I had made up my mind.
Mm.
So I promised the nurses that I would do a half marathon in a year's time if all went well.
Wow.
Well, after about 2, 3 months, I'd forgotten, but I'd changed my lifestyle now. It was changing. And the nurses reminded me that you had said about the half a marathon.
Marathon.
So I said, oh my God, I have to do something about it. So I said, which is the cheapest sport? Because I don't want to go and buy expensive gadgets when I'm not going to use it. I didn't even know that.
Mm.
So it was sneakers and shorts. I put on the sneakers, I put on my shorts, and I started running. Here is a lazy slob who had not even done 1 kilometer in his life, started step by step doing 1, 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers. And then in 8 months, I did do a half marathon. It took me, 3.5 hours.
Mm.
But I was so happy doing it. And
Yeah.
from there, there was no stopping me.
Yeah. Wow, wow, very encouraging. So I would love to understand the aspect of motivation for you on those lines, because I'm sure when you just started, and I'm sure since it was an initial phase, there is always a apprehension. There is always a leave it. Today's I did this much yesterday, and today I can't do it. So how did you keep yourself motivated to show up every single day, as to really do well? How was it?
See, one thing is there. Number one, people do not want to live outside their comfort zone.
Yeah.
It is very important that people should live outside their comfort zone. Only then can you start doing new things. People don't want to do it because they're fearful. But as someone once pointed out, that if you can do the thing that you are fearing most of, then death of fear is certain.
Absolutely.
So when I wanted to do, there were two ways to do it. If you're extremely great willpower, say our father of our nation, Gandhi ji. He was having a tremendous willpower and he could do things. I didn't have that willpower. So I could not suddenly turn cold turkey, do it next day. I took small steps. I took small steps. So that is why I said, get up in the morning, do half a kilometer, then 1 kilometer. Am I getting, and you will always do things that help you.
Yep.
And it started helping me. I started eating better. I was more mindful of other people's feelings. I was more sympathetic. I was more empathic. And then with all, and I was more compassionate also now to myself and to my family members and friends.
So
And
was it that time that you started being a vegan, or was it after doing your half?
I was not a vegan.
Okay,
I was not a vegan, but I started eating healthier.
got it.
I mean, say instead of fried foods, I would start having things which are broiled or which are boiled or, baked. So things like that. I would
Healthier
start
choices.
less oil and less meat and less eggs. I became a flexitarian,
Got it.
cutting back on things. But I was not. I was not. So I slowly started doing things. Now, the moment I started giving up things, I started feeling a little better. So to me, it is so important that diet, because diet is killing people, especially we South Asians.
Yep.
People who come from India, people who come from Sri Lanka, people who come from Nepal, people who come from as far as Maldives and Bhutan and Pakistan. Remember, we South Asians, if you ask any South Asian tomorrow, for your listeners, ask any South Asian tomorrow, do you know anybody who has a heart disease or died sudden death? They will tell you yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is happening at a younger age now.
Yeah.
You have 25% of the people dying of a heart attack before the age of 40. When I came to this country in America, nobody died before the age of 50. Now I'm getting people at 35 and 30.
Yeah.
So the important thing is that we South Asians, we are what? We are 25% of the world's population. And we carry 60% of the heart disease. Something wrong there.
Yeah.
My message is that it is a leading heart disease, the leading cause of death in the world. It is much more than all the cancers combined. And COVID is third. Second is cancers.
Yeah. So there was a recent study, and I'm sure you can definitely reflect
Very
on that.
recent study in 2020 that came out with this study. So why are my people, why are my brothers and sisters, why are my uncles and aunts, why are my people dying like this? And remember, I wear 3 hats. I wear a hat of a physician. I see people dying. I am a heart disease survivor. So I know I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the talk.
Absolutely.
And third, I am like you. I'm an endurance athlete.
Yeah.
So I have done marathons and triathlons and all that. So I know what is important.
Of course.
So it made me change my life. So we take step by step, people. Don't get disheartened if you don't go for immediate gratification.
Yeah.
Don't be like what we Americans say around here. Everything we want it right immediately. We go to McDonald's, we want our burger fast. We go here, we go fast. Do you know that in America, when you go to a restaurant in the evening, the table changes so fast? They'll give you the bill before you are finished eating your food. But if you go to Europe and if you go to India, that evening is yours. Enjoy the meal. Take time. You got to chew for 30 seconds each morsel of your meal.
Yep.
So that enzymes in your saliva can act on the food before it is presented to the stomach.
Of Yes. So coming to that point aspect, basically, when you are saying about food habits, I would love to begin with. I would like to know that how did you transition? Of course, you became a flexitarian, but was there a phase where you felt that why did I choose it? Was it like a regret feeling or kind of an integrity check on food items when you are alone or you are in a party and you're not sure if people are looking at you and you're like, let me try it. It's okay. I'm a fan of this food. So, these kind of aspects always come in picture because I think cheese, especially for people who love, who are foodie at least, is a challenge when it comes to going vegan. And there is a notion that vegan food is not even tasty. It's like it's just plant and it's just salad and stuff like that. What do you think?
Say, for example, number one, when I turned into a vegan, I started with flexitarian. I cut back on eggs, meat, oil, and sugar. Uh, then I started giving up things. You give up things and add things.
Mm.
So if you want to give up meat, then learn how to cook
Yeah,
things that are earthy, like meat tasting,
yeah,
mushrooms, jackfruit. These are things, Brussels sprouts. These are things which are earthy. So when I made, day before yesterday, I had a mushroom burger. And I don't miss the other burger at all now because my mushroom burger is better tasting than the others.
mm,
A little soy sauce with balsamic vinegar, with a little garlic, with a little ginger, and you let it marinate for 10 minutes and put it. It's excellent, a portobello mushroom.
mm.
So, what my point is that then I started giving up one thing which I realized that everybody who wants to start being a flexitarian and wants to give up something, the number one thing you give up is dairy.
Oh, mm,
Because dairy is one thing that is causing problems of distension, bloating, heartburns, diarrhea, and whatnot.
yeah,
So we'll talk about dairy a little bit if you have an opportunity. You can, but
sure.
right now the thing that I gave up dairy. Then I said, what else to give up? And I was feeling great now because my
Yeah,
stomach was feeling great. But yet I was not that much. I mean, I used to get, when I used to eat a lot of meat, the next day would be lethargy. I would be tired. So I said, what else to give up? So I've given up meat, I gave up.
mm,
Then I said, wait a minute, what else can I give up? So I gave up eggs.
mm,
But I had a weakness for fish.
mm,
Now, the point is, when I started giving up these things and when I became a real vegan, I found out who my friends were. People, first of all, stopped inviting me, some of them, because they did not know what to offer me.
yeah,
So I turned around and talked to those people that, look, you don't have to worry about me because I can always find myself. So I don't want you to go to somebody's place and be hungry. So
absolutely.
do what the Bollywood and the Hollywood actors and actresses do. Have half your meal at home. Then go to a party and nibble.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. And you don't end up eating junk as well. So
You
yeah.
don't end up eating junk. You're already half full and you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah. And you can have good connects, maybe good conversations with people instead of focusing on the food, what is there and what is not there.
Correct, correct. Why is food is very important in people's life, but
Yeah.
remember, food is also medicine.
Yeah.
Very, very important when we talk about that if we have an opportunity or chance. But right now, when you are talking about it, then I used to ask in my days when I turned a vegan, there were not many restaurants. Now
Mm,
you've got hundreds of restaurants around here.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Go to Nandita Shah's Sharan, and Sharan has got a recipe book. It's free for all the vegan recipes in that.
Yeah, I see she has even reviewed your book, The Open Heart,
Thank
so
you
which
so
is
much.
excellent. Yeah. So let's really talk about dairy. How exactly you are saying? I mean, of course, I being a vegan for almost now 7 months plus, I would say precisely 8 months exactly today, and
Well,
so thank you. So I would say that my sinus, I had a major sinus issue, and that's why I started running initially. In Bangalore, there is a lot of issue with the weather, so that's how I started. And my sinus has actually dropped completely to zero. I don't sneeze. I don't, have cold and everything. So I would love to know that is this because of dairy or what exactly is happening?
dairy is the biggest problem that we face today. The reason being that humans are the only people in the animal kingdom that drink milk after they are weaned of the breast milk. And we go a step further, we drink milk of another species,
Yeah,
the cow's milk.
yeah,
That is a no no. The
yeah.
reason being, there are several reasons. One is to get the cow to produce milk, you have to keep it pregnant. So you have to give shots of hormones, especially estrogen. So you're constantly letting that cow be pregnant and give milk. Once the milk comes out, we are very happy in the morning, putting that milk into our coffee or our
Tea.
cereals and
Yeah,
all that. Then we are smart enough not only to take that milk, we steal that calf from the cow. And then we put it into tiny little crates and force feed. Imagine that.
yeah.
How
It's horrifying. Yeah,
and then when that little calf becomes chubby in that little box, they then sell it to restaurants as veal. And in the meantime, the poor mama cows are moving in the night, moo, moo, wanting a reply from the babies.
yeah,
But this is where we have come to. So, from an ethical standpoint, it
yeah,
is totally wrong.
yeah,
Number two, from the health point, lactose is a sugar that is only digested by the calf.
yeah.
We cannot. There are so many people around the world who cannot digest lactose.
Yeah,
That is
and
why you.
I think I read somewhere interestingly that lactose is something most of the 70% of people are not even aware that they cannot digest, and they still go for it.
Because they think that distension, bloating is all a natural phenomenon. It is not a natural phenomenon. So the idea is that when you get into this kind of situation, it is due to the lactose. And
Yeah.
then people come around with lactase, the enzyme that digests lactose. It doesn't really work.
Mm.
So the next thing is the protein in cow's milk, casein, that again can be only digested by the calf. What does casein do? Casein is a protein that takes a long time to be digested, and it is very heavily found in cheese because 1 pound of milk, 10 pounds of milk, it takes 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese.
Got it.
Now, cheese having this casein in cheese, when you eat it, even if you digest it, it turns into casomorphine. So it has properties of morphine and opium. That means addictive properties. That means once you eat it, you can't give up. And if you try to give up, it will have withdrawal symptoms. That's why when I ask my patients, do you do dairy? They say, no, I don't have milk. I said, what about cheese? Oh, yeah, I have cheese
Mm.
because they can give up cheese. It's
Wow.
very difficult for them to give up cheese because of this casomorphins. Now, even if you digest this casein,
Mm.
then it starts mucus
Mm.
in most of your linings. So that is why what you got was the sinus, the allergies, the acne. All this is due to the casein, and you get digestive problems, and you get respiratory problems, and you get ulcerative colitis, diverticulitis, all those things because of the excessive mucus production.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that is so deep. Yeah.
Then, when you talk about it, what we do is, oh, we are not only milking the cows like they did years back in a village. We have got those steel things that are attached to the udders of the cow to take the milk out. This
Yeah.
causes maceration, pus comes into the milk,
Yeah.
and then to avoid this, we are giving heavy antibiotics to the cows
True.
so
Very
that
true.
these things are coming into our body and we are getting resistant to antibiotics too.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, yeah. This is completely unethical, not
And
acceptable.
saturated fat and cholesterol,
Yeah.
the very high in dairy products like cheese, you have your milk, you have your ice creams, very
Various
heavily
sweets, Indian sweets have high cholesterol, of course.
cholesterol
Yeah.
because of the milk.
Yeah.
Because cholesterol is only found in animal products. Cholesterol
Mm.
is not found in other products.
Yeah.
No vegetables, no fruits have cholesterol. Cholesterol is only found in meat and milk, which comes from animal. And
Got
we
it.
don't need cholesterol. The body
Mm.
makes enough cholesterol. We don't need even 1 milligram of cholesterol in your body.
Wow, surely, definitely. So I think what should be the approach to make people understand, because I feel somewhere it is also more of uh, prestige issue, when it comes to leading sweets or not having certain items. It becomes more of, how can I not do that, I'm a social person, or things like this is not right, we have been born eating all this and now you're talking all this to leave, how can you say that, such kind of reasons which are more important than the scientific data or results which are research, people who are studying about it. So, I mean, what should be the, what should can be done?
It is changing now. Veganism is here to stay.
Yeah,
It is not a fad.
yeah.
600% rise in veganism in America and other countries like Israel and other places, even in China. So
Mm,
veganism is here to stay. Number two, it's a double-edged sword. Veganism is here to stay, but as nations become more prosperous, they get more money, and when they were poor, they used to have a healthy diet.
mm,
Now they've got money, so they want to go and eat the unhealthy diet because they have
yeah,
not done it.
totally.
And now they want to join and do what as in America we say, do what the Jones do. Like it or not, you want to follow your neighbors and all that because they are doing it. Oh my God, these people are doing it. I should do it too.
Yeah,
This is a fallacy. You have to understand people are changing.
mm,
We did it out of ignorance.
yeah,
But now we are scientifically proving to you that if you have a whole food, plant based diet, your chances of getting a heart disease, which is the number one killer in the world, is almost negligible.
totally. Yeah,
So, a whole food, plant based, no oil diet is the only diet in the world that can not only prevent you from getting heart disease, but it also can reverse heart disease without stents or without surgery. So, I'm going to make a bold statement right now. Had I known Had I known then
Mm, mm,
what I
mm,
know today and
mm.
understand today, there's a possibility that I would not have gone for the stents or the surgery.
Wow.
And I would have followed the whole possibility, I'm saying,
Yeah,
whole plant based, no oil diet, so that I could reverse without destroying my blood vessel.
got it. Yeah, absolutely.
In your coronary arteries, or your arteries in the brain, or your arteries in the legs, we have that endothelium that secretes nitric oxide. And this nitric oxide is a very powerful vasodilator. And a lot of vegetables and fruits have this nitric oxide. So when we do bypass or we put stents, we
Mm,
are damaging that. Now, if you have a
mm,
heart attack, sure, you need to get it done.
mm, mm, mm,
Somebody who's got angina, like I did,
mm.
that plaques were formed from the age of 8, my grandson's age. That is when the plaques start forming. And make no mistake, we are dying. South Asians, we Indians are dying even with a vegetarian diet. So
Yeah,
remember one thing: if you have if you are a junk food vegetarian, it is as bad as eating the flesh of an animal.
got it. Yep, you're right.
2% cup of milk, 2% milk, 1 cup to 1 ounce of meat is the same amount of saturated fat and cholesterol.
Wow. So you are saying that it is completely possible that the person who is vegetarian and still can have the higher cholesterol like a person who eats meat. There is no difference. It can be possible very much.
Because of the milk,
Yeah.
dairy. So
Wow.
then again, we have the oil
Yeah.
aspect. The fatty acids are there. Uh, I was talking to somebody the other day. We Indians have a cultural connection to oil.
Yeah.
We feel it a sign of warmth,
Yes.
kind of generosity.
Right. Everything, butter chicken, butter paneer, dal makhni, you name it, everything has makhan. You know, it's like, yeah.
और ये सब चीजें स्ट्रेट अवे कॉरोनरीज में जाती है
Mm.
और वहां पे ब्लॉक कर दिया. So the idea is that this is a situation. Ghee, for example, it
Yeah.
clarifies butter. It's a wrong thing to turn around and say that have a spoonful of ghee, it'll help your digestive system. Sorry, eating the right vegan food is going to help your digestive system, not that. And as you were asking me, that when I realized why is it that after a long run or something, I have to eat a big piece of chicken or fish, big. Why is it that before and after, and then I lie in bed for 7 days when I used to be a partial vegan? And I said, wait a minute, let me do a vegan diet and see how I can do. So when I did 100 kilometers biking, ate vegan diet after that and before. And I give an example to a lot of people in a lot of talks that when I went over, it was a 6 hour drive to go to the place to do my 100 kilometers bike ride. And I was with my trainer. And then when I went there, we were going to, next morning after the ride, we were going to come. But I was feeling so good that after the ride of about 6.5 hours or so, I said, let's go. So you come 6 hours driving, you have done the 6 hours, 6.5 hours of riding the bike.
Yeah.
Then you go back in the car and you're going, and on the way, I get a call and we are going back to my hometown.
Mm.
Office manager calls me that we do not have a physician tomorrow. He is reported sick, and would you be willing to work?
Wow.
Without
And you showed
batting,
up.
I showed up and I said, 10 hours shift.
Wow.
Nothing happened. This
And that
is
too, you are talking about age which is above 60. We are not talking about anything right now which is below 60. So this is your energy level after 60. Being a
you know,
and taking care of yourself so well, which is actually profound.
it is the younger people. I want to hand my baton to you people. you can carry my message. You can lead a great life. You got fantastic recipes now. You can enjoy life. You can run marathons, triathlons. You can do things.
Yeah.
Your mind will be better.
Yep.
You'll be functioning better. Why
Yeah.
give up? And why take that risk?
Mm.
Like when I talk to some people, they say, "Oh, but when it happens to me, the doctors will know what to do." Yes, we doctors are experts at treating the consequence of the disease.
Yeah.
What about the cause? I'm a research and physician. I'm asking you that nutrition, diet is so important that we were not taught in medical schools. I
Yeah.
had 0 hours of nutrition.
Mm.
Right now in America, you have to only have 25 hours in your 4 hours, 4 years of medical school. And
Yeah.
that too, medical schools in America only doing 10 to 15 hours of
Yeah.
nutrition.
Yeah, same in, I think in India as well, it is not much covered in as far nutrition is concerned. And it's always a ignored fact that it's okay, it's something, I don't know,
Oh,
what is it? Yeah,
Swan, we are fighting the big industries,
yeah,
dairy industry, the meat industry. It took us 10 years to fight the cigarette industry,
yeah,
America. So it'll
mm,
take time.
yeah,
But in the prospect of time, I ask your young and your listeners, or old and young listeners, do you want to take the chance to get a heart attack and die? Because 50% of heart attack patients die with their first heart attack.
yep, absolutely. And if they are saved, it's a different life altogether. So,
I, I have no other this thing, ulterior motive.
yeah,
Even the book that I have written, Open Heart, is only to give a message to people that
mm,
you got to change your lifestyle.
yeah, absolutely.
Healthy heart, healthy lifestyle is the number one thing because it is killing us more than any other race.
Yeah, yeah. Great. I would love to know what about soya? Soya is something, there are a lot of challenges as far people are concerned, what to eat. Then if you say soya, especially or tempeh, there are a lot of facts about estrogen, man boobs and whatnot. And people just, don't get it when, just when you start sharing about it. So what do you have to say on that?
Trust me, a great book that I always tell people to read, apart from my book, of course, but is How Not to Die.
Mm.
Uh,
Yes,
that
Michael
book,
Gator. Yeah.
yeah, that book is fascinating and it addresses the problem of soy. Soy products do not contain estrogen, they contain phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens do not cause any mood problems, do not cause any man boobs, does not cause anything that is associated with estrogen.
Mm.
You can have safely your tempeh, your tofu, your soy products, your soy
Yes.
yogurt, your
Mm.
soy milk, and there is absolutely no danger in having that.
Got
Even not in India, even here, people ask me the same question. Phytoestrogens do not cause all this.
it. Got it.
It's not estrogen. Just because of the name,
Mm.
that it is associated because phytoestrogen, oh, it is estrogen. It is not estrogen. But then the other people, the meat industry will say, oh my God, this is estrogen. See what is happening. So we have to fight our battles
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
to win, to win the, let them win the battles now. Let us win the war.
Absolutely, that's a nice one. Yeah, because I think that's what I think. When you are trying to offend yourself and justify yourself, that's when you're actually losing. You don't have to explain so much that you're not good, and that's what I think dairy is coming to right now. Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So would love to start with your book. What made you write this book? And this is a grand thing because at this stage you are not giving up. You are just making one more, I would say climbing up the stairs or climbing up something way too higher than yourself. And what is your motivation to bring that up?
I would love to do, Swan, a half marathon with you one day. And
Definitely.
it was Mumbai with the Standard Chartered. I don't know if it is called Standard Chartered anymore, but
Yeah.
I would
No, it's TCS, Tata Consultancy. Yeah.
love to do that. I have done the Mumbai Marathon, yes, but my thing was that I would always come back from any of my triathlons and all, and my staff and my patients would tell me, Dr. Taher, write something about it so that it can benefit people. And I always used to put it on the back burner, too much work. I would make excuses. When the COVID came around, when I was homebound, when I was isolated, then I started thinking. So COVID in a way helped me. I put pen to paper
Yeah.
and started putting down my thoughts.
Great.
Trust me. Guys, listen to me. Read my book. It's a transformation of a doctor at the age of 61 who transformed his life
Yeah.
to such after a bypass surgery into a mountaineer, into a marathoner, into a triathloner, and running a 100-mile bike ride,
Yeah.
amongst other things, of bungee jumping and sky jumping from the sky.
Wow. So,
And
do you have
I,
a list? Do you have a list of things you want to do? Is it like that?
I have
Wow.
a list from Peru that I did the trail over there to a lot of things to Brazil where I did hang gliding. And so the idea is that to have this was basically due to spurred. When I did all these things, it was basically spurred by a vegan diet. Later on, vegan diet, mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
So this is when I started thinking that diet is more important than exercise. Then the book also helps you to learn from my mistakes and makes you think, oh, this old guy can do it, so can I.
Of course. Yeah.
That's another aspect of the book. The third aspect is that you will be able to conquer your fears. You will be able to live outside your comfort zone. You will be able to learn from, like I said, the mistakes that I made. And you will make a change in your life so much that you will start enjoying it beyond belief.
Yeah. Wow.
So, if I were to tell you that and I don't mean to, what I would say is that if, say, somebody wants to go to the yatra, which I did,
Yeah.
which was in Mount Kailash,
Mountainous.
Sarovar. It's a very holy place. And if somebody wants to do that yatra, they can learn from my chapter on that, of how I managed to do it. I did it on foot, 19,000 feet plus, the parikramas I did, and I felt so peaceful after that.
Wow.
That my wife recognized after 2 or 3 months when I came down again that there's something happened to you. You're mellowed down, your type A personality has mellowed down, you're beginning to be more sympathetic, more empathic, more compassionate. So that's one thing. Then some people want to say, okay, how do I train for a marathon? They can do that reading my book because I've actually clearly written of how I prepared for my first half marathon, how I ran my marathons.
Wonderful.
Then the triathlon, if you want a little bit of fun, then hear the stories that I write in my book of what mistakes I made in trying to put on a wetsuit and all that. So that will make it is a fun reading. Plus, it is something that you learn from.
Yeah.
And finally, the most important part of it is living and associating with nature. When I went to Mysore, in a very small town, Rwanda, and there I spent 7, 8 days with bare minimum, nothing, a coir dissing bed,
Mm.
and nothing, just
Wow.
cold water and just staying there and appreciating nature and working with the people,
Wow.
digging and planting things, carrying water. This soothes the mind. All these things are there, and I would like people to read. And I'm not, everything is going to charity.
Mm.
So I'm not interested in making. All I'm interested is read this book. You can download it
Mm.
on your smartphones or in your
Kindle.
computer.
Yeah.
So fast. It's not a literary some piece of writing.
Got
It
it.
is just a fast read, and it has come from my open heart, the name of the book, to your hearts.
Wow. So I would love to know towards the end that five things you are blessed about. You feel that, yeah, it's a privilege. It's something, that's a blessing.
I am first of all, I'm blessed with the fact that there is a hand over me. Uh, it, it is something, a spiritual force, as we call it, the Almighty or God, or what, has his hand over me and is protecting me in my endeavors, future endeavors. So for that, I'm very grateful. There is some spiritual force that is there in everybody's life.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, I am so happy to have the family that I have. My wife has been my rock of Gibraltar. She has stood with me in thick times and thin times. She has always been with me. And I would like to thank her immensely that when my head was up in the clouds and I was swollen headed, she brought me down back to earth. So for that, I will
Wonderful.
always be grateful to her because she makes me see things as they are, not the way I want to see in my great mind.
Wow.
Brings me down to earth.
Wow.
Then it's the friend circle. We should always have people who must realize who are our acquaintances and who are our friends. Acquaintances are great to have. Acquaintances, you talk to them what they want to hear. With friends, you talk what you
Want to see.
want to talk and want to hear.
No. Absolutely.
And then of course the question is that I'm blessed with my patients. My patients have undergone so much, but there's always a smile on their face. From them, I learn
Yeah.
that they have undergone so much. My cancer patients on the deathbed, last moments, I've gone to their homes, I've held their hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these are the people. And finally, for people who are making my message being heard all over, including you and other podcasters and people who and my Zoom sessions, because I want this message to go far and wide. Even if a few people say that, look, we have saved a life or we have lived a healthier life, my job is done.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think with that, I would definitely say that every listener should read the book, try and imbibe the vegan lifestyle, and age is never going to be an issue unless you make up your mind. I think everything works out very well. So I just wanted to ask this last question because this is something I really feel is personal because you have come towards an end of making this whole transition and making yourself to completely a reshaped person. Is there any regret? Do you feel anything which you could have done further?
The biggest regret I have is I wish I'd done it earlier. I wish somebody had opened my eyes a lot earlier. Remember one thing, Swan, uh, some damage has been done to my body
Yeah.
because I was being insulted. I am now trying to take a worn out, wrecked up car and getting it reserviced.
Yes.
So it helps because the
Of
car runs
course.
long.
Yeah.
But the fact still remains that I wish I had known it earlier. And number two regret is, you asked me for one, but I'll give you two, is the
Nice.
day I got my stents, had I known that Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Esselstein and Dr. T. Collins and Dr. Neil Bernard were doing reversal of coronary artery disease only by whole food plant based oil diet, then I would have gone for that instead of getting my chest open.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing yourself so authentically, and I'm sure our listeners will add value and get present to what it is, what it is, and it has to be changed completely. So I wish you very good luck with the book and your own journey of something new which you are in search of. And I'm really happy to know you in person, because this is not very this is not often. This is completely not often. And I'm really happy that you're living your life despite of your age. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. And I wish your listeners all the best in their lives.
Thank you.